Welcome to Prairie Badminton Podcast. This is Brandon Redekop coming at you from Saskatchewan, Canada. And on the other side we have...
Rylan Ramnarace from Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Are you going to hold the mic close to your mouth the whole time? Just need consistency here. That's all people want in the podcast. Just consistency of the mic.
That's how we're opening up the episode.
That's how we're opening up the episode. What are we talking about today?
Today we are going to be talking about the top 10 to 15 or so pairs. We'll see how far along we get in men's doubles. And we are going to discuss which player we think in each pair is the better player.
What does that mean to you?
So for me, when I was doing my research on this, and by research I mean actually looking and memorizing who's the top 10.
You have the top 10 memorized right now?
No, I don't actually. That's a lie.
Okay.
I don't know it by heart is what I should say, so I had to look it.
I got you.
So I noticed my trend for me, and I've always kind of thought this. So I like to make an analogy sort of to basketball, right? So you got like, for me, I usually find that the front court player is the better player. And obviously every doubles pair rotates and whatever, but there's usually one player that's better at the front and one player that's better at the back, right?
So you're thinking like the front court player is, because you said basketball, you're thinking like point guard sort of analogy?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And then maybe the rear court player is like the center or whatever, right? Or I guess it could be like the shooting guard. It could be like Kobe and Shaq, right?
Okay.
Steph and I don't know who the center is for.
Imagine trying to get it past Shaq in the front court if he's had fast reactions.
That's Colling right there.
That's true. Well, not really.
Yeah, not even close actually. If you think about it, 8 inches difference or something. Anyway, so I usually find that it's the front court player. For me, that's the better player, because they are the one, just like in basketball, they set up their partner, right? They're the playmaker. And for me, like when they're on defense, they hit that block and move in, which gets their partner in the back. And then obviously the partner in the back does set up the front court player through their smashes and whatnot. But really, it's up to that front court player to finish the bird, right? They take more risks, I find, and they will pay off more so, right? The rear court player's job is more to play steady. So I find that when you look at pairs, often the team's success depends on how well the front court player is playing that day. If they're playing exceptionally well, they can beat anyone, right? And they're usually not as steady because they have to take those risks. So like they'll have like bigger ups and downs. But the rear court player pretty much always plays really well, or well enough, right? Like they usually play pretty steady, I find, but then like the front court player, if they're having a bad day, it's gonna be a wash, and then if they're having a good day, they could like beat the world number one.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think there's like a lot more things you could say about what the front player is doing to try and set up and win points for them, right? But the backcourt player only kind of has the like smash placement, trying to get the front court player a chance to get involved and finish it. But I think that's a pretty big component for the backcourt player. Like unless we're talking about somebody who's just hitting hard smashes and they're just hitting them wherever and getting weak replies. Mm-hmm. Unless it's like that, then they have to be pretty on with the target of their smashes. But that's a more consistent skill to be that you could deliver the same every day you're on the court, pretty much.
Yeah.
So I see what you're saying. It's a good point.
Thank you.
So should we start at the top?
Yeah, for sure. Do you want to go first?
Well, I'll give my thoughts first. I'll always give my thoughts first.
All right.
We have Gideon and Sukamuljo at the top of the rankings. This is the easiest one to say who's the better player of the pair, I think.
For sure.
Why is it, though?
Okay, so what I was just saying, actually, I think Gideon and Sukamuljo directly contradict me. On the very first entry, I'm already wrong. So this is the one exception, I think, though. And that is...
The one exception is the world number one pair.
Yes, exactly. But this is why they're the best. Because the front court player, Sukamuljo, he's the better of the two, in my opinion. Right? Mm-hmm. But he's also the more steady of the two.
Yes.
In my opinion. So that's why they're the best. If you look at a pair like Lee Yong-dae, Yu Young-sung back in the day, same thing. Lee Yong-dae, the playmaker, and he's also more. Or actually, no, actually that's true. Young Sung is very steady too, but he was always almost on, right? They're always almost playing very close to their top,
Yeah.
right? So like they have less fluctuation in how well they play, and I think that's why what makes them the number one pair. He takes these crazy risks, and they almost always pay off.
Yeah, that like the ridiculous stuff that he's doing, the amount of times he misses it is very few and far between.
Yeah, and for like every one miss, he'll get three. I don't know, winners or something.
Yeah.
So
Not to mention like changing what kind of shot selection you have to do because of how fast he is and how much he's covering.
yeah, exactly.
Why do you think Gideon is inconsistent? I
I
agree he is. I'm just like,
yeah.
if we were him, if we were trying to help him out, like, why do
So
you think?
my biggest critique of this pair is that whenever you see them at Worlds or whatever, the pairs will almost always. It seems like they've done their research, right? Like Choi Sol-gyu and So Sung-jae there beat them at the Worlds this year. And what are they? They were like out of this top 10 when they beat them, I think, right?
Yeah, they just got into top 10 this week.
Yeah. And you could tell they did their research, right? And every single pair seems to know what to do, and that's to pick on Gideon as much as possible. Like, really, really just keep the bird on him. And that actually, not only does it put a lot of mental and, well, I guess, game pressure on Gideon to perform well, right? But it also
Mm-hmm.
makes Sukamuljo take bigger risks because all he wants to do is get in there and help Gideon out, right?
Yeah.
So he's hitting dumber shots now. He's hitting shots that actually don't help them as a pair, and that I think actually leads to their downfall. So it's both actually, but
I haven't. I think that's a great point. I haven't thought about that for them specifically, but I know I've played in doubles games where I've been the one being picked on, and I've been the one where my partner's being picked on, and it makes it a lot harder to play well because you're just like when it's not you getting the bird all the time, you're like, oh, I just want like my chance to do something, and then you try and do too
yeah,
much when you have your chance, and then when
yeah,
you are the one
exactly.
being picked on, you're like, oh, under so much pressure, and then I don't know, it just makes you kind of frantic.
Yeah, and then you kind of feel bad when you make a mistake for your partner, right? Because you're like,
Yeah.
well, sorry, man. Like they're just picking on me, right? Like I don't know what to say to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can create some tension.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
don't
Like
know if that's
not
really.
even
I don't
between
think that's their
across the
problem, but
court, but between the partnership, right?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Should we move down?
Of
Number two.
course.
Number two in the world rankings currently, we got Setiawan and Ahsan.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to appreciate what they're doing and how well they're doing it because it's kind of hard to see if you don't pay attention. Like
Yeah.
you turn on their game, if you're lucky enough to turn it on when their game's playing, because it only takes like 28 minutes for them to play a match, right? If you catch some of it, it's like serve, return, third shot, and then third shot's usually done. Fourth shot might be
Yeah.
done there. And then they're on to the next rally right away, and it's like you don't even really know what happened or why they won that rally, but they're winning all of these short rallies.
Yeah. There's no pair, even though they're the world number two. There's no pair that's better at the first three shots in the world, in my opinion.
Yeah. Do you think what level? Because obviously, well, I would say obviously Setiawan is the better player overall in this pair.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Where would you place Ahsan in all the doubles players in the top 10 right now for the first three shots and the skills at those first three shots? Do you think he's second? Do you think they're the best two at the first three shots?
Um, I would probably put him third. Sukamuljo is probably second, I think.
Okay.
But Asan, yeah, I would put him third. He has a really, really good serve return. He, like, especially on his forehand, he just like hits it halfway in between them in the doubles alley there, and he often gets winners on that. Um, and then he's really good at returning serve. Like he's at that third shot as well.
Yeah, I think something that like pairs maybe like 8 to 15 or basically anywhere below the top, like set 6 or
Yeah.
7 like that. When they serve return, they are totally covering like their side or the whole net after their return of serve, right? Like they hit it and then they're
Yeah.
ready. Whereas
Yeah.
like I was watching Wang Qilin yesterday, and he like would lunge in for the serve return, right, and then just kind of ducked and let whatever the serve
Liang.
return, whatever the third shot was,
Oh.
would just go right past him, and Liang would have to get it
Right.
regardless
Right.
of what it was. And I think that's maybe what's holding them back at the moment because they're kind of stuck at
Yeah,
like
that's
10 or 12.
interesting.
I
It's
feel
kind
like
of
the
funny
top
too.
players and pairs are ready for that fourth shot after they return themselves.
Yeah, exactly. And it's hilarious too because Ahsan and Setiawan are so casual looking when they play.
Right?
Right? They just stand up straight,
I
but
wonder how
they're
many matches they've won where they didn't like sweat, you know? Like I feel like that's a possible thing for them
yeah.
to have won some matches in like 27 minutes and they didn't even break a sweat, you know?
Yeah, I've only ever seen one of them injured, and it was Setiawan at All England, which they won, right? Because I guess
Yeah.
they don't move a ton, so it's why he's able to play for so
Yeah, that's why they could play well when they only had 3 legs.
yeah.
They could probably make finals on 1 leg each, I guess.
Honestly, and how old is Setiawan now? 36, 35?
I think that's about right. I can check.
Yeah, that's pretty old, right? So that's his game style suits sort of longevity like that. He's like the
Yeah,
Lee
that's
Hyun
true.
Il of doubles.
Yeah, he's 35 right now. But yeah,
Yeah, speaking of Lee Hyun Il, who just retired for the third or fourth time or something.
yeah,
He'll come back when he's 50.
he might on the senior tour. Catch him winning senior worlds. Maybe. Okay, so this third ranked pair right now, Liu Yuchen and Li Junhui. That's who I was gonna say when I asked you. Do you think Ahsan is second or third in the first 3 shot skills? I think Liu Yuchen could maybe be in that conversation for like top 3 in the first 3 shots of the rally.
Really?
But yeah, which match was I watching? It was just happening. I think it was at Hong Kong. Yeah, it was against Ahsan and Setiawan. And they were playing them in the semis, where he won like 6 points in a row, I think, where Li Junhui did not touch the shuttle.
Huh. Against Hassan and Setiawan. That's impressive.
It was very impressive.
Sorry, what
Just
tournament was that?
at Hong Kong.
Oh,
Hong Kong
okay.
Open 2019. Anyway, I think he's really good when he's on like that, but he's definitely not consistent like they are.
Yeah,
Which would be
he's
why
much
you
more
would have-
inconsistent.
Yeah, that's not ahead of them. But on his day, I think he can be
Yeah.
second or third.
So, do you think he's the better player of the pair?
I think he is a better player of the pair. When they started out winning some tournaments and coming up and like getting into the top 10, I think it was more even.
Yeah.
But I think he's improved a lot more recently from the backcourt and from basically everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
See,
I think sometimes Li Junhui could be a little bit more aggressive in like his movement on defense, like countering and following forward or blocking it for his partner to go in. I feel like he's sometimes happy to just settle with like lifting and driving it, and then
yeah.
the opponents hit a soft one, then he lifts it again and then drive it again. I think you have to be really careful when you get into that sort of game with pairs that will attack relentlessly without messing up. That's not really going to help you.
If you see, like, pairs often pick on Lee Junhan defense because that. But I used to think that he was the better player, like around 2017-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially like that All England there. I thought that Lee Junhan was playing really well. And I thought pretty much up until 2018 he was the better of the pair. But I kind of saw like a momentum shift where Liu Chen is now the better player. He's improved a lot. His rear court used to, like, he would just rely on kind of like height, but wasn't super smart about his shots. And now I think he's a lot better from the rear court.
Yeah. Another aspect of this that we didn't touch on yet is if, like, when they're playing a match and their coach walks off and they still got like 20 seconds or whatever.
Yeah.
There's always usually one of them who's the one kind of dictating the tactical talk, right? When it's just the players left. when the coaches walked away, or sometimes even when the coaches are still there. There's one of them that looks like the captain in that sense.
Yeah.
Is that, I was just kind of thinking about that as I look at the top 10 list. Is that always the better player in the pair that we would, so-called better player? Is that always the one that's the captain? You think?
It's funny though because the world number one, I don't see them even talk. It's
That's
like
exactly the same thought I just had when I was looking at
they're
their names. Well, they don't really
telepathically
talk.
communicating. They're just somehow able to communicate without talking.
Yeah.
I don't get that. That's crazy.
Even Setiawan and Ahsan don't really talk that much.
Yeah, maybe Indonesians have telepathic powers.
That would explain a lot, honestly.
Yeah, it would.
So like number 3 right now is Liu Chen. So he's the one that's usually dictating
Yeah.
when they're talking about stuff. Keigo and Sonoda are number 4. Oh, Keigo and Sonoda, sorry. Kamura and Sonoda.
Come on, man.
Who did you be
Disrespecting
talking
my
between
favorite
them?
pair like that.
I don't know if they have time to talk. Sonoda is bouncing around. They can't really be chatting, you know?
Yeah, I think I would say that Kamura talks a little bit more, but I mean, it's kind of hard to know what Sonoda's doing since he's moving around all the time, right? If it's not zoomed in on his mouth, I'm like, is this man talking right now, or is he just bouncing?
Usually just bouncing. So are we okay to say that Liu Chen is the better player in the number 3 pair right now?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah? Okay. So let's talk about Kamura and Sonoda then.
So
Kamura is the front court player.
Yes.
You can go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So for me, actually, this one's really close. Because, again, I used to think that Kamura was the better player. And he's still my favorite doubles player at the moment, actually. For the last couple of years or so. Maybe 3 years, or right after Liu retired. And he definitely is the playmaker, I still think. But I also think that Sonoda has really, really upped his game recently, like in the last 2 years or so. And you could really see that when he played with Watanabe at, what was that, Suderman or Thomas? I think it was Thomas Cup.
Probably Thomas.
Yeah, Thomas Cup. And he was playing really well there, and he's playing much smarter. That's what I think. I don't necessarily think it's technical ability strictly, but it's actually playing much smarter. And I find that he's more consistent than Kamura. However, I'm biased still. I'm still biased because Kamura, I just love watching him. He makes crazy plays. He's the one guy I think that could compete with, well, this is the one pair that can compete with Sukamuljo and Gideon speed-wise.
Yeah. I don't think when Gideon and Sukamuljo were like rising up, right, and winning everything, I don't think they could. I really think Kamura and Sonoda upped their pace. So I'm curious as to what they practiced and like how they practiced.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see that.
Make such a, like, that's a crazy improvement to make when you're already top like 3 or 4 pair in the world, right?
Yeah.
And you're, however, what are they, like 28 years old?
29.
29?
Yeah.
Yeah, like to make a change like that to up your top level of speed and like racket speed and at that stage in your career is very impressive, I think.
Especially after not even being in the top 10 for so much of their career.
Yeah.
They only really got good in 2016. And even then they were like, okay. Which is weird to say.
Yeah, like in 2013 they were at the Canada Open and I was there. And they were the number 1 seeds. So I was going to like get a picture with them after their match, but they lost like second round.
Damn.
That's only 6 years ago. So they would have been like 23, 24 already at that point. So I didn't get a picture with them because I was like, wow, these guys, they just lost second round, you know? Wow. They lost to Ruud Bosch and Koen Ritter.
Who the hell is that?
Remember those guys?
No.
From the Netherlands? That really tall guy?
Oh,
Bosch,
yes,
I
I saw
lefty
that.
with the big smash.
Okay, I actually don't know who this pair is. I thought it was someone else.
I'll send you a video. They're pretty
Okay.
cool. Anyway, yeah. So this one's a little bit harder to call. I would say, in my unbiased opinion, because I like them both equally, I would give the edge to Sonoda. I think.
Interesting. Okay. Because I think even with all the stuff I said, I'm still gonna give it to Kamura, but I am biased.
Right. That's fair. I'm all right with us splitting on that one.
Yeah, we can't be too agreeable here.
No, we usually aren't, actually. So Alfian and Ardianto, number 5 right now. Just a note first before that, like Marcus and Gideon got 105,000 points.
Yeah.
Setiawan and Ahsan 94. Liu and Li 86. So those are like pretty spread, right?
Yeah.
And then still, it's not that. Kamura and Sonoda have 82,000. Alfian and Ardianto 76. Endo and Watanabe 73. And then there's a big jump till Choi and Seo.
Yeah, 60.
At number 7 was 60. And then there's 3 for like all the pairs of 60, 59, 58. So after the top 6, it's really close.
It's crazy to think that Gideon and Sukamuljo have 105,000 points, and then world number 10 is almost half of that. They're just under 60,000.
Yeah.
It's wild. Or I guess not almost half, but like 40,000 more. This is funny because this is the one pair where for some reason, I don't know if it's their names are similar or they look kind of similar, I always mix up who's who.
Okay, well, hold on.
But I know
Alfian is the rear court player. He's like more chill, right?
Yeah. So Ardianto is the front court. Yeah. So I actually think that Ardianto is not very good. I know this is extremely harsh to say about a team that is world number 5, who I'm actually surprised are ahead of Endo and Watanabe because I don't really check these rankings that often. But I actually think that Ardianto is a very nervous player when it comes to those big moments. He chokes
yes.
quite a bit. You could see that All England against, I think it was Aaron Chia and Sewell Yik, right?
Yep.
He chokes quite often, and I just don't think he's that smart of a player. Whereas Alfian is actually quite consistent, and I think is the smarter of the two. And I think that if, after, say, Olympics or something, Gideon and Sukamuljo were to split, I think that Alfian would be a good partner for Sukamuljo.
I agree.
Oh,
I think there was even rumors of that already.
What? No, I'm the one spreading these rumors, man.
You think? I can't remember which name
chat.
it was, though. I'm not sure. But I know I heard something somewhere of Alfian and Ardianto mixing with those two, yeah.
Interesting.
If things don't go well soon.
I forget who was telling me, but they said that they thought Ahsan and Sukamuljo would work well together, and I don't think so, because I think Ahsan isn't fast enough. I mean, obviously they work well enough together. They're both sick, but I think Alfian and Sukamuljo would be a good fit.
Yeah. It's hard to call something like that because with players that good, right?
Yeah.
You could put any of those 6 Indonesians, you could put any 2 of them together, even if it's a stupid combo, like 2 of the front court players.
Yeah.
You put Sukamuljo and Setiawan together. They would still be so good, man.
Yeah.
Like, they'd still be making semis and finals of
that's true.
and stuff. It's ridiculous. But yeah, I think probably Kevin with Alfian would be nice. That'd be interesting to see how that would go.
Mm-hmm. So do you think Alfian or Ardianto is the better player?
I would agree with Alfian just because, well, partially mental and like consistency. But hey, you got Go Visham and Tan Wee Kyung who have trouble serving over the net sometimes, and they made the Olympic final. So it's not to say that Alfian and Ardianto couldn't.
That is a low blow.
Well, they wouldn't. Never mind. Well, they can't make the Olympic final because they won't even be there.
Imagine being the world number 5 pair and then not qualifying.
Yeah, they won't be there. They won't be at World Tour Finals.
That's like every Japanese women's doubles pair, man.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
They got to have like a lottery system to see who goes from their Japanese team.
Yeah, the women's doubles is gonna be crazy because you have 2 of the top teams in the world who've made the 2 last World Championship finals, and then you have the previous gold medalist. That's gonna be I wouldn't want to be the person making that decision.
No, I don't think anybody wants to make that decision.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll just have a round robin like the week before they have to decide.
Hey, they're from Japan. They should just let a robot pick it.
All right, we should probably stop there with talking about that. So number 6, the last of the top 6 who are like a level above according to the points on the rankings is Endo Watanabe. Ooh, this is gonna be interesting. I haven't thought about this before.
This is actually the one
you go
team
first.
when I went down the top 10, I was having the most trouble with.
Yeah.
It's so hard for me to call this because I used to think that when Endo and Hayakawa used to play together, I never really liked them actually. They would always frustrate me. They made 3 All-England
They'd
finals.
always frustrate themselves, I think.
Yeah, and then they lost all 3.
Perennial runner-up, yeah.
Yeah. And I used to think that Hayakawa was the better of the two.
I used to think that Endo was the better of the two. What are you talking about?
Because my problem is, like, I always thought that Endo would hit these stupid shots. He hit, like, these flat cross-court lifts, and they just smash at Hayakawa, and he couldn't get it. Right?
And this is... Can I say something first?
Yes.
This is a little bit of a sidebar, but, like, when I think about a player, there's, like, an instance that usually comes to my mind, or, like, an example of something that they do a lot that comes to my mind, right?
Right.
Like, if you say the word... This is, like, word association, basically. So if the word you say to me is Lindan, I immediately think of, like, dive defense to his forehand side, you know?
Right.
Like, that's just what comes to my mind. It's just, like, silly little thing. When I think of Hayakawa, Endo's previous partner, I just, like, picture him missing a, like, mid-court short lift. Just, like, smashing it into the net. I don't know why. It's kind of silly. That's just one of my idiosyncrasies.
Wow.
We could do a whole nother episode. I know it's savage, but I didn't make that choice.
You gotta delete that photo you have with him.
Huh?
You gotta delete.
No, he's a good guy. I like him. I'm just saying. I'm just telling the truth, man. You probably don't want to know what I think about you.
Ah, jeez.
No,
we
it's
should
good.
cut this episode
it's just a
short.
slow round-the-head forehand drop that's really loose. That's all.
Me?
It's all good. Yeah, man.
Come on, man.
I haven't played you in a while, though. It's all good. Anyway, I think Endo was the better player in the pair before, and now it's hard to say. I would probably give the edge to Watanabe because I feel like he can save a lot of stuff due to his mixed playing ability. Like, if one of them hits a bad shot, it doesn't even matter who, really, and there's, like, a big opening, and the shuttle goes into the big opening, and he's there, and he just gets it back. He's so quick, you know?
Wild. See, the funny thing is that when Endo played with Hayakawa, I used to think he was the worst player because he hit these shots that would get his partner into trouble. Now he does that a bit less, but when he does, now they're not bad shots because Watanabe can get them. If he hits that flat cross-court left, they smash at Watanabe, he's chilling. I think this team has the best defense in the world, to be honest. Just for strictly returning things. Yeah. This is Ben has a shocked look on his face.
Okay.
Man, these guys will scrap anything. Anything. You could smash a net kill like 30 times and they're getting it over. It doesn't even make sense. That doesn't necessarily mean like they have like the best control and placement and whatever. But they are able to
just
scrap
getting
back
stuff
anything.
back?
Yeah. It's insane.
I can go with that.
But I'd actually give the edge to Endo.
Really?
I think he's improved a lot. And I think his defense is slightly better than Watanabe.
Shout out to these players who improve a lot at anything when they're like 28, 29, 30. Like,
yeah.
That is so admirable.
It's basically a midlife crisis.
I mean, I guess so, but at that point in their lives, they've been playing that way for 20 years. Or like they've had developed the same skills, and then to like add something new at that point just seems like sick. I love it. Good work to them.
20 years?
I would say,
20 years?
Well, if they're like 28, they're like 20, maybe playing already for 20 years.
Oh, okay. Right. I thought you meant like competitively.
Oh, no. Just like as soon as you start playing, like,
right,
have that certain style, and it doesn't really change that much unless you make a concerted effort, like they obviously do, which is hard to do, and it's good. It's impressive.
Yeah, I agree, for sure.
So you would go a little bit with Endo, and I would go a little bit with Watanabe on that one, I guess. So that's fair too.
Yeah. Okay, team number 7, shall we?
Yeah, they just moved up 6 spots. Introduce them.
Yeah, this is wild. So we have from Korea, finally have my favorite doubles country back into the top 10.
Yeah,
Choi
they're the
So-gyu and So Sung-jae.
yeah.
They're pretty young too, right? Like how? Let me check here. So Sung-jae is 22. Wow, he's my. Wow. Okay, he's 13 days older than me. What am I doing with my life, Brad?
I think that sometimes too.
Yeah, if only I was born in Korea, right? Cho
Well, he's
So-gyu is 24. Oh, I didn't know he was older. Yeah, it's a terrible photo they got of him in this thing. He's got absolutely no chin in this photo. He's much more handsome than this photo for everyone that's going to go check him out on BWF.
anyway.
Right.
This one's easy for me.
Interesting.
So we'll say their last name, I believe. Last name.
Mm-hmm.
We'll say it on 3.
Wait, I'm
One.
actually very confused over what answer I'm going to pick.
Yeah, well, just go with your gut. 3,
Okay.
2, 1. Seo.
So-gyu. Oh, okay.
Is that what you said too?
Choi So-gyu. That's what I'm picking.
You said Choi?
Yeah, I'm a little confused though because I think that So Sung-jae is definitely better at the back, right? He has boomers, and his defense is good. But I also feel like I don't know. There's, I think they're pretty even, but I think Choi is really good on defense.
I don't think they're even, man.
So
I think
what
Seo
sets him
has more variation from the backcourt.
Yeah.
I think okay, maybe they're even in like drives and flat game, but I would also say Seo's better at the front court as well as the backcourt. That's just my
Interesting,
feeling.
really.
I think he's more creative. Which is
Well, they are both mixed doubles players,
yeah.
but I think Choi is better at like the mid court a little bit. Like he, when I'm doing that thing where you think about Lindan diving or whatever.
Yeah, what do you picture when you think of Choi Sol?
I see him on defense. He lifts one, then the hit like at his face, and then he redirects it cross court, and then he goes there.
Okay, I definitely 110% see him going up for a smash with his racket like parallel to the floor.
Yeah, I know his overhead's disgusting. It's
I
so
guess that's how you
ugly.
get the boppers on them though, with that racket down there like that, and then bring it up and down again.
Remember at
Nice.
Suderman Cup, was Steen criticizing? He was criticizing one of the two for having a really weak smash. Was it Choi or was it So? I think it was Choi.
It must have been Choi because I
I remember
remember
him
Seo hitting
ripping
those
them. It was
angles.
like savage, man.
It's kind of crazy. Like when we think about the two of them now and them just coming up, it's because of it's like we're thinking about them as a men's doubles pair, right? But
Yeah.
they won the Suderman Cup in
Yeah.
27. Like how?
That's because my boy Choi So-gyu turned up, man. That's why. Because he's the better of the two. There, I've solidified my decision.
Well, you're welcome. I helped you with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go Seo on that one, just because I think he has more options with his shot selection.
Yeah. I do think he has a really nice smash from the back.
Is he taller a little bit?
Yeah, I think so. That's because Choi gets lower on defense. Just kidding.
It says he's 182, and Choi is 180, so they're both the same. He's got like an inch. All right, next.
Yep.
Rankireddy and Shetty.
From India.
Okay. I still think it's funny that Rankireddy, what did he do? Fractured his sternum or something? Cracked his sternum?
What?
Going down a water slide?
What?
Did you not hear about this? That's why they were out for a while.
Shut up.
Yeah.
How do you do that on a water? You're not supposed to go head first, you idiot. They say that.
It was at the end of, it was like a year ago. At the end of 2018, they had to take a break till June. May.
Imagine how
May.
mad the coach would have been.
Probably pretty mad.
Man, a water slide? Come on, dog.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Shetty is 2 years
I don't think
older
we.
than So Seung-jae. 2 days,
Yeah.
sorry. 2 days.
Are we going to talk about the age of these two players?
Supposed age? Is that what you mean to say?
Alleged. I didn't say anything.
Oh, I will
Um,
allege.
okay.
Rankireddy, this man is not 19 years old. This makes no sense. I mean, like, now it's kind of believable, but when he was 16, he looked like this and he was smashing just as hard, man. And I don't know if I
Yeah.
believe this. I have a friend who was from India that told me when he was in India, he was good, right? And he was like, he won like his provincial thing. And then they were like, you're pretty good for U17, but you'd be even better if you're U15. So, so they wanted him to change his birth certificate, but he said no. And then I also heard some rumors that Laksha is actually like 25 or something.
Oh, really? He just won a
Yes.
title.
Oh, really? Yeah. See, so I'm very much questioning if Rankireddy is that old.
Okay. So drop a comment if you think Rankireddy is. How old do we think he is then? If we should finish this.
I
We don't think he's 19. How old do we think he is?
I don't think he's that much older. I think he's like 23, 22.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would make sense. Because, like, 4 years ago, if now he's 23, 22, then he'd be like 18, 19. Yeah. I think that's
Yeah.
probably good.
Mm-hmm.
So that may or may not be true. Anyway, I haven't watched them a lot, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah,
but
I'm not a huge fan of this pair.
why is that?
It's just this pair kind of plays like how Indian men's singles plays. Win on the smash. That's it. That's why I'm
That's
not a
the
huge
only
fan of
option.
Indian men's singles either. They just love smashing. Like, that's it. It's like the whole game. But with that being said, I think that Shetty is better. And I think he's actually a pretty creative player. But then again, they both have really hard smashes. And that's how they win most of the points.
Yeah, when I think about them as a pair, I also have that kind of imaging thing as pairs as well, not just single players. So you can at me if you want to know what I think about you when I think about your name. That's pretty interesting. So with Shetty and Rankireddy, I think about that match they played against Bo and Mogensen. Was it? I think it was in India, right?
When was this? I don't recall.
Like a while ago. Let's see. Oh, it was a year ago. To yesterday.
Wow.
The semifinal of the 300. Said Modi 300.
Oh, yeah, okay.
They won 20 and 23.
Right.
22-20, 25-23.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think about that. And I think about... I don't know. I think Rankireddy definitely is the front court player of the two. Would you agree?
No.
No?
No.
I see Shetty at the back a lot.
Yeah, I know. They have like a... Well... Yeah, they're like more evenly split than other pairs because they're both good at the back. But I think Shetty's the front court player for sure. I don't think Rankireddy's good at the front.
Well, depending on how old he is, there's still lots of time to develop. So that's a positive.
Yeah, if this guy retires in 2 years, I'm going to be real suspect.
Yeah. Then we'll all have questions.
Yeah, he's going to enter seniors. He's going to apply for a pension in like 2 years. We're like, well, hold up.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have a lot more thoughts on them as a pair until I see them some more.
Yeah. Okay.
Number 9, I really like this team, and they really suck a lot lately, so I'm very sad.
I know, it was great for me because you really threw your World Championship predictions because of that.
Yes, we always do World Championships predictions with a couple friends, and I always go in on Han Chen Kai and Zhao Haodong, and they always lose. I just know they're going to break through soon. I just know it.
And
Maybe
I
not.
just want to say the people I picked to beat them were lower ranked. Hoki and Kobayashi. That was my number one upset of the tournament. And they made the finals, so.
That was a good call.
Thank you.
Nice work.
Even though I lost at the predictions in the end. I think that Han Chen-kai is the better player. But it's close, though. It's very close.
I would agree. I wouldn't say it's like very close. I feel like he is really good moving forward and at the net, and he's pretty good from the back too. I don't know. I think my opinion of the better player in a doubles team is when they're not in their favored position, the team like isn't. Oh, we have to like get them back to the front. Like if the front court player is in the back, it's not like a panic to change it.
Yeah.
It's like it's all right. They have options from back there, and they can still like set something up. So I find him as the front court player. I think he's better in the back than Zhou is at the front. So that would make me feel like he's a little bit better of a player, and also I think he's a bit more consistent too. So those would be two big things.
Really? Okay, I think he's less consistent, but I think he's like so creative that he makes up for it. Kind of like a Sukamuljo situation.
Yeah.
This team actually can also contest with them for speed, as you saw in the French Open last year.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
Because I did say earlier that Kamura and Sonoda are the only team that could, but I think this team can. And actually, to an extent, Endo and Watanabe can compete with speed as well, but less so, I think.
Yeah. So do you think they're going to have a breakthrough? Do you think they can get higher than like 8? So they were seeded for a bit, but now they just dropped to 9th, so they're not going to be seeded anymore.
Oh, yeah, that is a rough drop-off there. Yeah, interesting. It's actually funny that the points are super, super close between 7th and 9th. But Han and Zhou are 9th. They have played 21 tournaments. Rankireddy and Shetty have played 14. And Liu and Sanjaya have played 18. So they played the most, but they have the least to show for it in a way. I think that
that's
they
just
could.
a few 100 points, so that could be one match would change.
Yeah.
All of that.
Exactly. So I think they could move up to 7th pretty easily, but I don't really know if I see them breaking into that top 5 or 6.
Not unless they have some sort of early life crisis and adapt another style of play or improve
Exactly.
several percent in their current style.
Mm-hmm. But I do think they're very good together. Should I move on to number 10? Oh, sorry.
Before we hit number 10, do you ever wonder or think about which pairs would be good from players from different countries?
Yeah, I would love to see some cross-country pairs. Like when I saw Tan Boon Hyung and Hendra Setiawan there, that was awesome. Even though
they played like trash.
yeah, they played good for a little bit. They won. They made a final of the Australian Super Series. That was pretty good. But then they started playing bad.
Yeah. If we have to pick a dream team out of top 10 men's doubles players, let's exclude the Indonesians because we already kind of talked about that.
Yeah.
Well, we just talked about them with each other. So we can include them. Make a dream team right now, just a quick one, with 2 players from different countries. I would be thinking, I'll give you that moment to think about that. Yeah. I would take, you have to take Sukamuljo, right? Mm-hmm. I would put him with man, can you imagine him playing with Sonoda?
That would be unreal. I was thinking that too. But I was also thinking him with Watanabe.
You don't think that would be that would be a little bit of a short team? You wouldn't have a lot of angles, but it'd be pretty fast.
And Gideon's short too.
But if you put him with Watanabe, then he has to adjust to playing with a left-handed person. Think he can do that?
Of course, he's the number 1 player in the world, man.
Yeah, but he's never played with a lefty, though. You think?
If you can adjust your shots when you're playing against a lefty, you can adjust to play with a lefty.
None of these Indonesian men's doubles players are left-handed. I'm just saying.
You know why?
I want to know why.
They got Taufik Hidayat syndrome. Anyone that's left-handed, they say, you want to be like Lin Dan? Go to China. They make them all play right-handed. It's like reverse Rafael Nadal.
All right. Yeah, that's not why. But
Conspiracy theories. This is a new type of podcast.
Okay, let's wrap up this top 10.
Okay.
Number 10, right now, they just dropped down from 9 because Seo and Choi bumped everybody down one. Kim Astrup and Anders
Scarup. Sounds like a Migos ad lib. Scarup.
It could be. Someone show him that name. All right. So I'm going to be honest. They're on their way down. They're on their way out of this. If we do this podcast in a couple of weeks, we wouldn't be talking about them, unfortunately. I was looking into what happened to Danish men's doubles. Because they had this pair, and they had Conrad and Kolding, right? And they had Bowen Morgensen.
Right.
In 2018, what was it? Right after the All England? Or at the All England, right after the All England, Bowen Morgensen just started losing, like, first or second round every time.
Yeah.
And then, after, it was at or after Worlds, I think it was Conrad and Kolding that started losing first or second round every time.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was at or after some tournament later in the year, like another month or two later, that this pair, Astrup and Rasmussen, started losing first or second round every tournament. Like, if you look at their ranking right now, they've got, how many tournaments? They got 19 tournaments on.
Mm-hmm.
Only 1 out of their last 6 are they using the points from. So 5 of their last 6 are useless right now.
Damn.
Results. That's pretty rough.
It's because the juice is wearing off. That's
We can have another episode on the juice.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if this pair, like, I looked at their rankings and their results from all the way from when they started coming up. Like, they never really had a really good result other than winning the China Open, you know? Like, they had that, and then they made semis of World Tour finals. But aside from those, really, they haven't even made, like, semis very often of anything. Just
to be honest, I was pretty surprised to see that they're even still in the top 10 because they haven't had a good result in so long.
Yeah.
And I also don't really follow them because this is one of my least favorite pairs to watch, actually.
They move. It would be a good pair to watch if you wanted to teach somebody rotation from a beginner intermediate standpoint, because they rotate really nicely, but it's like happens kind of slow. You can see what they're gonna do, you know.
Mm-hmm. Like they play on defense the whole game, basically.
Yeah, lots of crouch defense from Astrup.
Yeah, and they kind of look like bricks moving around. To be honest, like if you watch them against Sukamuljo and Gideon, man, they're so slow. It doesn't even make sense.
Is that because they're trying to control the speed of the game?
Perhaps, but I mean, like their body movement as well, right? Like,
yeah,
even from like the backcourt, it's kind of weird. I don't know who do you think is the better player here? Because I actually am, since I don't really like watching them, I'm not really entirely sure. I want to say Astrup, just because I'm
I think he creates the opportunities, but Rasmussen, I don't know, it's pretty close. I feel like this pair, maybe out of all of the ones we've mentioned today, the better player could be different today and different tomorrow.
Yeah, that's fair. I would agree.
Which is probably why they're on their way out of the top 10, maybe? Or do you think? I guess that could be okay.
I just feel like their game style is so hard to win if you're not having a good day. If you're on defense the whole time and you're not having a good day, you're not returning everything, you're gonna be hard pressed to win. And obviously they're not on defense the whole time, but like they're a defensive team. And I think defensive teams have a harder time winning tournaments than offensive ones.
On a like overall sort of level, given conditions of halls and such.
And such, yes.
Yes. So they're obviously not at World Tour Finals this year, so they're going to lose that result. They're going to be probably 14th after World Tour Finals. They'll drop below Chia and So, Li Yang, Wang Qilin, and Go and Tan. Will all be moving up a spot. So that would have Aaron Chia and So Woo Yeek as the number 10 players in the world.
I really like that team.
Yeah?
One of my favorites to watch.
They're
right
exciting.
now. Yeah, I just find that they're, no offense to Malaysians, they have uncharacteristically good mental strength.
That hurts a little, but you're right. You're good.
Yeah.
Let's see. Do they have any really good results other than the All England? That's their best by quite a lot here.
Yeah, they did make quarters at Worlds 2 years ago, I think. Or was it round of 16?
I'm not
But
sure.
they've
Well,
had...
they beat... Ooh. Sometimes I forget about these things that happened, like, not even that long ago. So, 2 weeks ago, China Open, they beat Alfian and Ardianto, and then they beat Ahsan and Setiawan.
Oh, I forgot to beat Ahsan and Setiawan. Yeah, and they had
lost
a
to
really
Kamura and
close
Sonoda.
one to Liu a couple weeks ago too, right? Whatever tournament that was at. But they've had like a lot of close matches with Li and Liu. Even the year they won at Worlds, I remember they had a close. I think it was 2 sets, but it was pretty close.
Yeah. So their upside is obviously very high, but they
Yeah.
perhaps don't reach it that often.
Yeah, I think like they're pretty young
that
too,
range?
right? Like let me
Yeah.
check the age here. Aaron
22.
Chia is
22.
22. What? It says
So Yurik is 21. So yeah, pretty young. I think they could definitely be on the way up and have hold their spot in the top 10, maybe even top 8. They can get into that 7 to 8 kind of contest there, where everybody's close.
Yeah.
So that's our kind of honorable mention for who's coming up and going to be in the top 10 next.
Yeah,
and
I think
staying
so.
there. I think I would pick them.
I would agree.
Yeah, so there we went through the top 10. I think we covered most of what we wanted to there. What we think is conducive to being the better player in the pair and who is the better player in the pair. I'm looking forward to World Tour Finals coming up. I think that's going to be super exciting.
Do you know off the top of your head which of these pairs is going to World Tour Finals?
You're going to call me out on something that easy?
That easy. Wow.
That easy. We got Gideon and Sukamuljo, Setiawan and Ahsan, Liu, Kamura and Sonoda. Alfian and Ardianto can't go, obviously, because they're the third-ranked Indonesians. So that means Endo and Watanabe are going to be there. Seo and Choi didn't qualify, unfortunately, which makes me pretty sad. Because I think it would have been...
That would have been very interesting.
That would have been great. And then Aaron Chia and Soo Yeek, they qualified, so that's what part of why I said they're going to be up in the top 10, because you get great points from that. Li Yang, Wang Qilin, I guess they'll be in that conversation too, because they're also going.
I think they're not going to win a match.
I think Lu Qingyao and Yang Puhan aren't going to win a match.
Oh, I know they aren't going to win a match.
You want to make a little wager on Li Yang and Wang Qilin? I think they'll win a match.
Well, if they have to play Liu and Yang Pohan, then it's not fair, bro.
No, they'll probably be split, but you never know.
Yeah, we'll make a wager once the pools come out.
Once the pools come out. All right, I'll be watching. I'll be waiting for that. Did I miss any? That's it, right?
Yeah.
Liu Yang, Li Wang, Cha So. That's 3, and then the top 5. Yes. Except Endo Watanabe, not Alfian and Ardianto. Yeah. Okay. Anything else you want to add today, Rylan?
Tune in next time.
When we will be discussing
the juice.
The juice. Perhaps the juice.
Probably not.
Perhaps, I don't know, maybe some mixed? We haven't talked about mixed yet.
Yeah, that's true. We should talk about mixed doubles.
Yeah, we'll come back with that.
Good call.
All right, this has been another episode of Prairie Badminton Podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have comments, which I'm sure you do, please leave them for us to discuss, and maybe we'll give you a shout out on our next episode. That would be pretty cool for you, wouldn't it?
We'll read all of the comments. Yeah,
we will read all of the comments. That's a promise. can take that to the bank. That's all from me. You good to go?
I'm good to go.
All right. See you next time. Scout up!
Scrup!